Shilpi Cables. We had promised you that we'll be speaking to that company. In the last 3 months, this stock, I mean, in the last 1 year, this stock has given a 300% return. It's down today, but just look at the 1 year chart, which we are going to pull up for you. The return is 300%. So it's a very interesting company, little known, little covered, but obviously the smart money is definitely investing into it. Manish Bhatt, CEO of Shilpi Cable, joining us. There's that chart. You see that massive growth. Some amount of capex has been done, and that is now going to start bearing fruit. But Mr. Bhatt, let me start off by asking you to explain to our viewers, those who don't know much about the company, what you are into, what exactly you do.
Yeah, so we are primarily a cable and wire company. We are specializing into various segments. So we divide our business into two parts. One is the B2B and another is the B2C. In B2B, we have different segments where we specialize. So one is the telecom segment, where we supply RS cable and the various accessories which goes in building the network for every operator. Similarly, we are into automobile industry, where we supply wire to harness manufacturer, who in turn gives it to the OEMs. We are specifically into the two-wheeler segment right now.
Similarly, if I go out on the road and look at telecom tower, is there something that I will see which would have been made by Shilpi Cable?
Definitely. That antenna, that you will see a big antenna, and from there, if you trace, in the center of that tower, there will be a thick black RS cable which will be going up and down, to connect to the BTS below. So that particular RS cable is supplied by us.
And you said that in the two-wheeler space, you provide the crimps and cables for the harnesses. What exactly is that?
So we supply cables so let's say if you're sitting on the driving seat, then there are a lot of wires which will go to different places, the lighting, the doors, etc. So that wire we supply for that main harness. And also for bulb, we need to have a small harness which connects to the main harness.
Okay.
So that harness we are also manufacturing.
And who are your big clients there?
So we are, so for example, Honda Activa two-wheeler scooter is mostly, you will find our wire 100% there.
Okay.
We go through the Minda Corporation.
Okay. So you supply to Minda Corp, which is the OEM, which then gives it to Honda, right?
That's right.
And in telecom, are the RF cables given directly to the tower companies?
Yeah. So in RF, we supply to all the OEMs. Name it Airtel, Idea, Vodafone, everyone.
Okay.
And many of the operators have given turnkey to Ericsson or Nokia. So in that case, we supply to them.
I understand you also now have a thing that people can use at home, right? The switches and wires under the brand name Safe.
Yeah, so we have launched this brand called Safe, to which we are now supplying house wire, which is the B2C foray of ours. And recently we have also launched the modular switches and MCBs.
So, and this is done directly through dealers or directly at retail point?
So it's like any other FMCG model, where we have a distributor, dealer and retailer. That's the model which we have. We are present in now 17 states. We are billing to almost 60 cities with more than 5 lakh populations in India now.
And if you had to break up the revenues first into these three major streams, which is telecom, automotive, and then the home sector, then how would that break up?
So telecom would be accounting from 18 to 22%. Automobile would be 12 to 15%. Okay. And housewire is also now coming to around 12 to 15%.
All right. Now, I would first want to understand telecom. Now, setting up towers is becoming a big problem. And, if I look at Airtel now, instead of the 3G and those ads, Airtel has started trying to explain to viewers, and those are the ads that you see on air, why there's a problem with towers. Now, how do you expand this market? Because it appears to me that there are many regulatory issues with towers.
See, ultimately, if a customer has to have access to mobile phone and data, tower has to be there. There's no other way you can reach to the customer at large. Yes. So the issue is the intensity of the signal, which could be. That means you have to put more signal with less intensity. So I think the market will continue to grow given the demand.
But would you? I understand that you now started looking abroad, right? For much of the to expand your telecom business.
That's right.
Could you tell us some of the geographies? I saw one report saying that you've entered Philippines now.
Yeah, so we have been trying with at Philippines, and we are so in all this market, entry and exit barriers are huge. You have to go through a long cycle of tests where your product is tested, put it in the practical phase, etc. So we are presently trying in all the international market where we have different stages of approval. So whether it's in Southeast Asia or in Africa or Middle East, we are presently in developmental stages.
So how long is the gestation period then? Because, the average investor would obviously want to catch you in a proper cycle where you are investing, but you're not too expensive, and then take benefits of the time when you actually reap benefits for those
Yeah, so mostly it is 1 to 2 years time period.
And where are you on that cycle?
So we are like, for example, in Philippines, we are almost on the verge of it. In Etisalat, etc., we are already doing business, already started. Okay. So we are at various stages, yeah.
And if you got to enter Philippines, let's say, how much would be that market size? And initially, how much would you want to get in terms of orders?
So there, I think every market has its own requirement. So Philippines market in particular is not expanding big in the outside coverage. They are doing is in-building coverage. So that's where we are right now attacking. So every building, on an average, have a requirement of around $20,000 investment. And for example, every year, a particular operator would do more than 500, 600 buildings. So that's the kind of market which is available even in the small countries.
So if I look at the telecoms OEM space, supplying the RF cables and things like that to build the antenna, again, it looks like heavily dependent on the replacement market in a country like ours. What is the replacement cycle like?
It's not actually replacement. It is the expansion only. All right. So you may not see the tower expansion, but within the tower, there is a separate antenna which is coming, which is like 3G, 4G, different frequency band. Okay. And hence,
and each of this would require an intervention by Shilpi Cable.
Sorry?
I'm saying each of these expansions within that tower would require them to turn to Shilpi Cable for RF wires.
Correct. That's right.
So, again, if I get a sense, what is the total, let's say, the manufacturing capacity you have right now? I understand that you have you've expanded in 2 plants, Hosur and Chopanki.
So we have a RF manufacturing happening at our Chopanki plant. So we can make around 18,000 kilometer of wire in a year.
All right.
Approximately.
And currently, how much are you utilizing?
We are more or less utilizing our capacity right now.
So, would it be fair then to say that if you actually want to expand your market, you would have to increase capacity?
See, the telecom cycle, it is, it depends on their rollout plan. So presently, for example, with all this government requirement of call drop, etc., the Indian market is doing well. So there is a huge requirement which is coming on, but it may not be same during the year, and hence all this international sales, etc., will come and fill in the gaps.
All right. I understand that you've gotten ENY to give you some ideas about how to restructure, how to cut costs, which areas to enter into. How far has that proceeded?
Yeah, so we have a plan made with them for $1 billion, top line by 2020. And yes, of course, we need to add 1 or 2 more revenue streams to reach there, and also grow our this B2C foray, for example, is the result of those discussions with them, and is one part of one of the plans. So I think we are on the road. We are presently doing and you're growing at almost 40% year on year, and also creating a lot of opportunities for us to keep growing. And hence, I don't see any challenge right now in meeting that expectation.
So 2020, you're saying you aim to become $1 billion revenue company. Currently, I can see that you do about 3,900 crore was your FY16 revenue, right?
That's right.
So that would mean that that's a very high growth rate you put yourself up to.
That's right. So if you see in each of the verticals, we have a huge opportunity to grow. So in telecom, we are entering into antenna now, which is 3 times the size of the market of RF cable. Similarly, in automobile, we have this whole four-wheeler segment, where we are trying now to get into. B2C itself gives us a lot of opportunity. Internationally, also, we are expanding our business and putting a manufacturing capacity, which will have almost 60,000 metric ton of copper products churning out. So I think there are huge opportunities, and I see we can meet our plan.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatt, for taking out time.